when you win the Raeburn Shield, rugby's lineal world title, you go on what's called a run. And that run could last for one match, i.e. the game where you won it and you lose it in the next match. Or it could go on for 17 matches, like Ireland did last year, up until they lost in the quarterfinal of the Rugby World Cup. But each one is called a run. And so some teams have won it more often and had more runs than others. And what you're looking at on the side here is the nations and how good their runs are. And it's done in order of when they first won it. So Scotland were the first ever team to win it in 1871 when they won that first game of international rugby against England. And since then, they've actually had 18 different times that they've held the Raeburn Shield. Some of those would be for one match, some of those would be for multiple matches. I believe Scotland's best is 5, but that is off the top of my head. England, you can see, made it to 28, so actually they've held it quite a lot. Ireland 23 and Wales 17, and I think it's quite interesting starting to see who's kind of gone back to it time and time again. South Africa with 34, and you can actually see there that South Africa were the 5th ever team to win the Raeburn Shield, because I've ordered this in such a way that top to bottom is from when they first held it. New Zealand 42, that is the best. They have held it the most often. And Australia 30. And it's interesting, right? You can see some of these teams down here, the more recent ones. France, only 16. I actually have a really interesting fact about France, if you'd like me to tell it, around how many people they won it off, which I can do a separate video on if anyone's interested. Romania, Argentina, Samoa, Japan, all of them pretty low, right? Japan, both of their runs have come in the last 10 years. Or in fact, it's 2024, so 11 years. They've held it in 2013 and 2019. And Argentina haven't held it actually since the 1980s. I think the last time was 1986 off the top of my head, which always surprises me because I feel like Argentina could, they've had a couple of Rugby World Cup semi-finals, right? The Raeburn Shield is has always been on the line in semi-finals. You'd think one of those, maybe somebody in a quarter, they would have taken it off. Anyway, they haven't since the 80s. So this was just me sharing with you some more information that I find interesting because I'm a data geek. I'm sorry. All right. Cheers, that's me.